Hi guys, today I will be discussing why we need to push for better police training. So throughout the United States, an estimated 250,000 civilian injuries are caused by law enforcement officers annually, and more than 600 people are killed by law enforcement each year. Also, in 1 year, more than 50 million individuals throughout the United States will have contact with police during traffic stops, street stops, arrests, traffic accidents, or through resident-initiated contacts, and that's through the Law Enforcement Epidemiology Project 2024. Throughout recent years, our nation has had a growing concern over police misconduct, and we have yet to come up with a solution to help deal with these issues. This issue is relevant to everybody because it has become a very important issue that has arisen throughout recent years. We have a chance to save lives as well as make our communities safer throughout these processes. So today I would like to advocate and motivate you all today to hopefully recognize that pushing for law enforcement to receive better and more efficient training in turn can help contribute to saving lives and members of our society and make our communities safer as well. Some of the main points we will be discussing today involves what has actually occurred in terms of police misconduct and police brutality, and how training can help turn the tide with these issues, as well as how pushing for better training contributes to a safer and more efficient society. So let's begin by talking about the current problem with this issue. So the overall problem that I would like to lay out today involves police brutality, excessive uses of force, and failures of police misconduct that we have seen from law enforcement throughout recent years. In the wake of the murders of George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, and Breonna Taylor, Americans from all over the country have demanded reform among the ways in which our country conducts policing. We have seen too many cases of excessive uses of force, violence, and cases where individuals may have been injured or killed by law enforcement officers. So from the time these cases took place until now, we simply haven't done enough to help address these issues. Throughout a study which was executed after the highly publicized death of George Floyd, Howard et al. 2023 found that distress about police brutality reported by young adults increased to a historically unprecedented level, with a major focus towards policing and racism throughout the United States. Our authors also note that the results from this study suggest that there might be a brief window of greatest emotional urgency and heightened concern about social and political affairs in the aftermath of major events among young people. So mobilizing the policy change efforts quickly after major stressful events is a major key. And that was Howard et al. 2023. A main underlying driver of these issues involves overly aggressive policing throughout communities of color. An example includes the stop and frisk encounters, which disproportionately impacts communities of color, while data shows that only around 3% of the incidents actually rendered adequate evidence of a crime. Henderson et al. 2024. When this sort of treatment by police occurs, it destroys the trust in law enforcement as a whole. It breaks the bond between the communities these police officers serve, and it decreases the public's willingness to report crimes as well. Another way which misconduct occurs throughout law enforcement involves the role of formal network methods, and a study done by Wallet et al. 2019 found that social networks may shape deviance within police departments through exposure to other deviant officers. So when officers are around other officers who are more accepting of misconduct and deviant behaviors, they are therefore going to be more likely to engage in these behaviors themselves. So now that I have talked about the issue, let's talk about my proposed solution. So the solution that I would like to propose today to help rectify these issues is through pushing for police to require more efficient training while working in the field. By investing in efficient and smarter officer training, departments around the country can ensure that officers are ready to serve their communities in an efficient and ethical manner. The operational actions required of police officers places a high demand on individuals throughout the field. Within fractions of a single second, the situational demands can change the dynamic of an entire situation. Officers need targeted communication, sound tactical behavior, as well as emotional intelligence. Corner et al. 2021. A few ways in which training can be focused better, although, is through changing the content to a reality-based approach. We need to teach officers to automatically be prepared through operationalization techniques, focusing on real-time scenarios where they are taught what to do when the situation that they face changes. Another important aspect of training involves de-escalation. De-escalation training focuses on providing officers with enhanced interpersonal communication, emotional intelligence and regulation, active listening, and procedural justice skills. Throughout a study done by White et al. 2023, they examined a police department in Arizona after they were trained on these same de-escalation strategies and found that officers were more likely to use these procedural justice, emotional regulation, and de-escalation strategies, which left citizens satisfied with how they were treated, as well as how their encounter was resolved. Another aspect of training that has grown over the past few years also involves crisis intervention training. These training strategies address calls when police officers are dealing with individuals who struggle with various mental illnesses. Hanafi et al. 2008 found that officers who had gone through CIT training had increased knowledge and awareness of mental illnesses while grasping the practical application of learned skills. Officers who have been trained by the CIT program consistently describe an increased knowledge and awareness of mental illnesses, as well as a grasp of these skills required to effectively de-escalate crisis situations. So now that I have talked about my proposed solution, let's visualize the future. So imagine a future where law enforcement officers are trained in an efficient manner, where they are constantly training and pushing to be better through real-life training scenarios, where they combine these de-escalation and crisis intervention strategies to reduce instances of excessive uses of force, where communities around our country have real faith and confidence in the officers that are working to protect and serve them. And on the flip side, if we fail to push for more efficient training, we will see more innocent lives being taken. We will continue to see officers mishandling situations and using excessive force over members of the public. More chaos and unrest will stir throughout the country as these problems will not be addressed, and they will inevitably get worse as time moves forward. So today I've advocated for change concerning the issue of police misconduct and brutality. So today I've laid out the issues of what has contributed to police brutality, misconduct, and growing unrest from the general populace. I've proposed my step-by-step solutions for this issue, as well as shared possible future consequences if you decide to adopt these solutions or if you ignore them. So I'd like to ask everybody here to take action by recognizing that to address these issues, the key is not neglecting or defunding law enforcement. It is to push at the local and federal level to help provide better training for police departments around our country. In order to prevent future travesties from occurring, we must ensure that police officers are better informed, educated, and trained throughout de-escalation strategies, crisis intervention, and real-time situational training.